classified military recordings, including video recordings of targeting systems.
Well, we don't find the explanations to be satisfactory to this point. This is a tragedy. You have Zomi Frankcom, who was there working, supporting her fellow humans, doing work in Gaza, providing aid in a way that should have kept her safe. One car was hit, then another car was hit, then a third car was hit. We need proper accountability. We need full transparency about these circumstances. And I think that's what the Australian public would expect.
All right.
Because it is in Israel's interests as well for there to be transparency around these incidents. They have shaken the world. We believe at this point that there hasn't been an adequate explanation for how this has occurred. What structures will be put in place to ensure that these sort of incidents can't occur in the future? There have been almost 200 aid workers have lost their life during the conflict that has occurred between Hamas and Israel, and that is unacceptable.
The Israeli military on Friday released findings from its inquiry into the killing of 7 aid workers in an airstrike in Gaza. It found serious errors and breaches of procedure and said 2 officers will be dismissed and a senior commander formally reprimanded. The inquiry added that Israeli forces mistakenly believed they were attacking Hamas gunmen when drone strikes hit the 3 vehicles of the World Central Kitchen aid group. The Israel military had earlier apologized for what it called the unintentional deaths. World Central Kitchen released a statement shortly after Israel published its findings, demanding an independent commission to investigate. It added that the Israeli military could not credibly investigate its own failure. The killing of the aid workers has angered even some of Israel's closest allies, including the US administration, leaving it increasingly isolated. Public opinion among close allies like Britain, Germany and Australia has also swung against the Israeli campaign in Gaza. Leaders have become more critical too.
And what isn't good enough is the statements that have been made, including that this is just a product of war.
US President Joe Biden, under growing pressure from his own supporters to end the fighting, has said he was outraged by the convoy attack.
والله يطلع في الاخر يهود كبده فكره حتى الصراحه بالميدو يعني مش بدك فيه خلاص انسى الموضوع كده بيلا بكره والله ما قلت بكره والله حاج فك اليهود هو بلد
They were targeting us in the conflicting zone, in an area controlled by IDF. Them knowing that was our teams moving on that route with 2 armor, with 3 cars. Then we saw the consequences of that continuous targeting attack. Seven people dead.
This is Zomi and Chef Olivier. We're at the Jirabala kitchen and we've got the mise en place. Tell us a little bit about it, Chef Ollie.
This is the beautiful, fragrant, aromatic rice that will be served today from Jirabala kitchen. Thank you.
People like Zomi are so selfless and only doing what they do because of their love for humanity. It makes me feel like humanity has reached a new low to see something like this happen.
his experiences in the British Army when he served in Bosnia and Afghanistan. He knew the dangers. He was no fool, and people were telling him this could be very dangerous for you. But he knew the dangers. He was selfless in that regard, and he just wanted to help people.
Hello everyone, Damien checking from Cairo. Here behind me already loading trucks to Gaza kitchen with equipment. We already loaded tables, shelves.
We were outraged to learn of an IDF strike that killed a number of civilian humanitarian workers yesterday from the World Central Kitchen. The U.S. will continue to press Israel to do more as well to ensure the safety of humanitarian workers, and will continue to do all we can to deliver this assistance to Palestinian civilians in Gaza.
They were targeted systematically, car by car.
Celebrity chef Jose Andres told Reuters in an emotional interview on Wednesday that the Israeli airstrike that killed 7 of his World Central Kitchen aid workers in Gaza had been deliberately targeted, and he rejected Israeli and U.S. assertions that it was a mistake.
This was not just a bad luck situation where, oops, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place, or no, this was over 1.5, 1.8 kilometers with a very defined humanitarian convoy that had signs in the top, in the roof, a very colorful logo that we are obviously very proud of, but that's very clear who we are and what we do.
Andres said his charity group had clear communication with the Israeli military, which he said was aware of the convoy's whereabouts, and he called for investigations by the U.S. government and the home countries of every aid worker that was killed in the attack.
If we were targeted this way, I need to understand that this was no vicious. I need to understand that this was not by somebody that is above law and order that decided just to kill us because, I don't know, maybe because I did a tweet that was very strong against President Netanyahu. I don't know. Obviously, that's why we need to have an investigation that is neutral and is above IDF. But what I know is that we were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy.
The aid workers were killed when their convoy was hit shortly after they oversaw the unloading of 100 tons of food brought to Gaza by sea. Israel's military expressed, quote, severe sorrow over the incident, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called it unintentional. A U.S. official said President Joe Biden, who spoke to Andres on Tuesday, will speak by phone to Netanyahu on Thursday. The White House has described Biden as outraged by the attack, but the president has made no fundamental change in support for Israel in its war in Gaza. Meanwhile, the State Department said the U.S. wants a swift Israeli investigation into the incident. Here's State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller.
It doesn't really matter how they made the mistake. At the end of the day, you have 7 dead aid workers who were there trying to deliver humanitarian assistance. So whatever the reason was that led to this tragedy, whatever the mistake that happened inside the IDF, it's unacceptable.
Andres said his organization was still studying the safety situation in Gaza as it considers starting aid deliveries again. He also condemned the war in Gaza as a whole, noting that at least 196 humanitarian workers have been killed there since October, according to the United Nations.
At the time, this looks like it's not a war against terrorism anymore. Seems this is a war against humanity itself. You cannot be fighting the basis of what humanity should be standing for.
No.